Imagine someone reaching their favorite place in the world. Instead of enjoying the moment, most people feel the urge to take photos and show others. But this story begins with someone who chooses not to capture, not to post, not to share. Someone who prefers to live the moment quietly, without proof. Imagine standing at the edge of a forest where the light falls in long, dusty columns, and the only sound is the rustle of leaves and your own breath. You feel the cool air on your skin, the scent of damp earth and pine. There is a fullness in your chest, a quiet expansion. And the first thought isn't to frame it, to filter it, to find the right caption. The first thought, and the last, is simply to be there. To let the moment wash over you and then through you, leaving its trace not on a server, but in the subtle recalibration of your own cells. This is where we begin. Not with a statement, but with a silence. Not with a profile, but with a person walking. The path is familiar. The same slight incline, the same route that threatens to trip you, if you're not watching, the same bend where the view opens up. The walk is a kind of thinking. Each step is a quiet rhythm that loosens thoughts, lets them unravel and drift. For some, a moment isn't real until it's witnessed. For others, a moment becomes most real when it is protected from witnesses. It's not about secrecy. It's about sovereignty. This space between your ears, behind your eyes, is a private gallery. Some experiences are hung there in the quiet light of memory alone. To share them would be to change their nature. To translate a feeling into a description is always a kind of loss. The compression of a whole afternoon, the way the breeze felt, the unexpected birdsong, the slow fade of the sun, into a single flat image feels like a betrayal. Not of others, but of the experience itself. So you walk. And you remember things you've never posted. The way your grandmother's hands looked, tracing the lines of a recipe card, flour like ghostly fingerprints on the paper. That memory belongs to the smell of her kitchen, the sound of her humming. It doesn't belong to a grid. You remember a conversation with a friend that lasted until 3 in the morning, where the words were soft and true and heavy with meaning. To post a selfie from that night, with tired smiles and empty coffee cups, would have been to build a cage around a feeling that was wild and fragile and needed the dark to be what it was. Some joys are too sharp, too bright. Some sorrows are too tender. To expose them to the open air of a feed feels dangerous. It's not hiding, it's holding. It's the understanding that the most precious things are often the most perishable, and their preservation requires a certain kind of container. The human heart, imperfect and vast. People think it's a lack, an emptiness, a blank page where a life should be. They see the silent profile and project a void. But it is the opposite. The silence is not empty. It is dense. It is filled with unedited hours. It is a room where the furniture of your life isn't arranged for guests. It can be messy, sacred, boring, profound. And it is all authentically, chaotically yours. There is a freedom in existing outside the narrative. When you don't curate your life, you don't have to live inside the curation. You don't have to become the character that your posts suggest you are. You are allowed to be contradictory. You can be heartbroken on a Tuesday and find a perfect tiny shell on the beach on Wednesday, and neither moment needs to be leveraged for meaning or sympathy. They just are. They exist in you, side by side, without a storyline. Your life is not a thesis statement. It is a collection of breaths, steps, glances, some of which matter to no one but you. And that is precisely what makes them matter so much. The walking continues. A pause to watch a spiderweb, jeweled with dew, strung between 2 branches. It is exquisite. It is temporary. You look, you feel the pang of its beauty, and you walk on. That is enough. The act of observation, fully felt, is a complete transaction. The urge to share is often an urge to dilute, to spread the weight of a feeling across many people so you don't have to bear its full intensity alone. But to bear it alone is the point. To let an experience resonate in the chamber of your own self, to see what it turns into, what it touches, what it transforms. That is how you build an inner world, a world with depth, with shadows, with hidden corners. A world you can retreat into, a world that sustains you. That inner landscape is built from unshared moments. The quiet cup of tea at dawn. The book that made you cry in a way you can't explain. The street you walked down where the light was just so. These are the bricks and mortar of a self that does not require external validation to exist. It is, in its way, a gentle rebellion. A world that shouts to whisper. In a world that documents to experience. In a world that connects through broadcast to connect through presence. The connection happens in a look held a beat too long. In a hand on a shoulder. In listening. Really listening. To the cadence of someone's voice without thinking of a reply, let alone a tweet. This person is not against connection. They are for a different, older currency of it, one that doesn't depreciate with circulation. They protect their attention because attention is the rarest form of love they have to give. And they choose to spend it not on an audience, but on a single face, a single leaf, a single moment at a time. There is a self-protection in it, yes, but not the kind that builds walls. It's the protection of a flame from a windstorm. Some inner light is small, and flickering, and vital. It needs stillness to burn. The performance of happiness can be a drain on actual happiness. The performance of sadness can turn real grief into a spectacle. To refuse to perform is to conserve your emotional energy for the feeling itself. It is a way of keeping your inner life intact, uncommodified. Your joys are not for engagement. Your milestones are not for congratulations from distant acquaintances. They are for you and for the few you choose to tell in the dark over the phone with your voice cracking with real emotion. The reward is integrity, the feeling that your life is your own. The path begins to loop back now, or perhaps it just continues, an endless circuit that is never quite the same because you are never quite the same. The light has shifted. The shadows are longer. You think about the people who will never see this walk, this day, this thought, and you feel no loss. You feel a strange, soft abundance, because it happened. The proof is in the slight peace that has settled in your limbs. The proof is in the memory that is already fading into a sensation, a color, a mood. It will become part of your atmosphere. The unshared life is a rich, internal climate. It has its own weather systems. Sudden storms of creativity, long stretches of calm, foggy periods of doubt, clear skies of insight. You live in that weather. You don't report on it. So you keep walking. You are not an archive. You are a living, breathing event. A closed loop of perception and feeling. The story of your life is not in the highlights reel. It's in the quiet continuity between them. It's in the steps you take alone, with only your thoughts for company. It's in the moments you choose to keep close. Like a smooth stone in your pocket that you finger for comfort, its meaning known only to you. The world is loud and demands evidence. But you are learning the deep, quiet truth that some things are not diminished by being kept. They are amplified. In the sacred space of your own unshared attention, a simple walk can become a ceremony. A cup of coffee can be a meditation. A glance from a stranger can be a novel. When you are not preparing your life for presentation, you can fall into the texture of it. The grain of the wood, the chip in the paint, the warmth of the sun on the back of your neck. These are the details that build a life, not the headlines. You reach the end of the path, or maybe it's the beginning again. It doesn't matter. The loop continues. The sun is lower. You feel a little tired, a little settled. You have nothing to show for your journey. No data, no likes, no digital trace. Just the faint ache in your legs, the coolness of the evening air replacing the day's warmth, and a sense of calm that sits deep in your bones. You realize, not with a shock, but with a slow spreading warmth, that you are not missing out. You are tuning in to a different frequency, one that plays the quiet, endless song of just being here. And for now, for this moment that will leave no mark on the world, but the subtle, irreversible mark it has left on you, that is more than enough. It is everything.